Hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Oops, where are we? So, have so we have a topic for today, of course. It's breaking out of the prison of abuse. And we received so many amazing questions. And this is a class that's going to happen in Sibiu on the 21st to the 23rd of November. And okay, so maybe the first question, what is abuse? And okay, but we have to start it somewhere else. What is your true nature as an infinite being? And that's the continuous expansion. What it means that you are naturally, everyone is in that state that they are expanding out. But unfortunately, in this reality, most of the people doesn't like it. They rather like you being controlled by them or by your fears or by anything. So even parents, brothers, sisters, friends, colleagues, your boss, so everyone likes to control you. And the most amazing thing is controlling by abuse. So anything is abuse that has an intention or it has an effect to make you contract yourself. Because when you contract yourself, then suddenly you are not in expansion. So expansion makes you sort of like unstoppable. And as I mentioned, no one likes you to be unstoppable, only yourself. But everyone would rather like you to be contracted. When you are contracted, you function from a much smaller space. Actually, you keep contracting the space that you are functioning from. At the same time, you contract your awareness and your consciousness, you contract your capacities, you contract the space that you are functioning from. So it doesn't really matter if that's your best friend or your best family member. And most of the time, people doesn't do it intentionally, like consciously, I would say. Doesn't do it consciously, but most of the time they do it intentionally. So how could it be possible? Like they don't really know it's not your best interest to be contracted, but they know it's better for them if you are not unstoppable. Because if you're unstoppable, then they have to look into the mirror that they also could choose it, but they're not choosing it. They also could be unstoppable, but they just easier in their comfort zone, which is much smaller. They would be much happier if they would become rich, if they would become visible, if they would become successful, if they would achieve something truly amazing by themselves. But rather, it's comfortable for most people to stay where they are. And they can also make you stay where you are, like not expanding further, even contracting yourself by abusing you. And there are many forms of abuse. Of course, the most well-known forms of abuse is physical abuse or sexual abuse, but there are many other forms. For example, there is emotional abuse, when they say, if you don't act the way I want you to act, then I don't like you. I don't love you. Most of the time, it's parents who are telling this or trying to control their kids to make them behave the way the parents want the kids to behave. And of course, generation after generation, this is the teaching that is handed over. So everyone grows up with such education, like social education, So this is what most people can hand over to the next generation by managing them this way. So it's really ingrained into our reality. And actually, strange enough, but to a certain level, everyone accepts it. Everyone says that this is the way of life. And of course, there is sort of like, let's say, a global level. I mean, it's changing, like it's variations between nations and cultures, but there is a certain level. And if abuse goes beyond that level, most of the people would say, now this is abuse. If that stays under that level, most people say, it's normal, it's part of life, that's everyday life, it's normal. Like, in the Arabic world, abuse has a different level towards women than it's in Europe. I mean, that's it. It is what it is. That's something culturally built up this way. But also, let's say, even within a family, it can be different than what it is nationally in that culture, in that country. And also personally, it can be different. So maybe your parents get used to much higher level of abuse at their workplace. So they intend to stay at such workplace, even if their boss is really abusive. And maybe you are sort of like having enough of such abuse and you say, if my boss is like this, I'm out of here and I'm looking for another job where the boss will be normal, okay, and supportive or generative to me. And so, so actually there is a personal level of abuse, which again, until or up to a certain level, you accept it. And beyond that, you say, now it's enough, it's abusive. But it doesn't really matter what is your valuation, whether it's you think it's abusive or it's beyond or it's below that level of abuse, because you still react to it consciously or unconsciously. And as long as it is below that level, you get used to it logically, but your body, your being, sort of like reacts to it with contraction. And I intentionally say your body as well reacts to it because it has an impact on the body, especially if we look it into the body, because all the energies that you are aware of has an impact on you, especially if we make it significant. So how many times did you lock the energy of abuse into your body because you were unable to manage it, you were unable to recognize it, you were unable to clear it, or you were unable to become aware of it and sort of like process it? And everywhere it affects your body, it contracts the physical reality for the body, let's say the biochemical reality. Maybe you've heard that even from the facelift treatment, that like the energetic facelift treatment, that any abuse logged into the skin will make the skin get older, like show up as more wrinkles and aging quicker and faster. So in which many ways and how many times did you lock it into different parts of your body, into your tissues, into your organs, the different types of abuse that, people did to you? Not to mention self-abuse, when you sort of like try to keep you within the barriers or boundaries that people made you believe in. So, how many times have you been abused, ashamed, or punished? So you decided that I don't want to be punished again or hurt again. So I rather follow those boundaries that they tried to give me. And if I stay within those boundaries, within those rules, then I'll be a good boy, good girl, or a good person for them in their eyes, and they will not punish me. But you could create greater outside of it, so you still have that that fire within that you want to go outside, you want to go beyond. But in order to stop yourself so you won't get punished, you will abuse yourself. Okay. So you will be, let's say, harsh with yourself or angry. You will have anxiety. You will have lots of stress. You will try to shame and hurt yourself to stay within those boundaries so that no one will punish you. And everything that brings up for you will you destroy and uncreate, eliminate and eradicate beyond time, space, and all dimensions. Like, who are you without the self-abuse that you use to control yourself? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pop, all one, shortest voice, forward, basis creations, and beyond. So everywhere you made it so real, the self-abuse. Everywhere you decided it's useful, it's a way to manage yourself, it's a way to survive, will you now destroy and uncreate for all eternity. And and of course, there are many forms of abuse, just as I mentioned. So there is the sexual abuse, there is the physical abuse, there is self-abuse, there is emotional abuse, there is mental abuse. Like before we covered emotional. So mental abuse is that they say you are not smart enough, you're not old enough, you're not matured enough to understand this or to have clarity about this. So actually they say you are stupid. So there is no need to tell you anything because you are too stupid to get the clarity about it or get that picture. But in other words, most of the time what's behind it, that if they were give you more clarity, then you would see the lies behind that story. Okay. There is also spiritual or religious abuse. Uh, you know, when they tell you that, the story of Adam and Eve, where all women was made wrong for following the snake and taking that apple. And, it's just a funny thing that in religion, all women was made wrong. And there are many other spiritual ways that would sort of like trying to control you through your spiritual beliefs, like making you wrong, shame you, make you believe that you are useless. You need someone else to sort of like connect the universe or your God, because without them, you are powerless. Without these people who bring you the true message, or these people who can, your priests or whoever else they are, or the gurus or the leaders of that sect. So everything that brings up will destroy and uncreate, eliminate and eradicate everything you made vital, valuable, and real about your spiritual leaders and gurus. Yeah. What's the value of that? And there is financial abuse, and when they say, when at the workplace, they tell you that, you have to work extra hours if you want to have, your job, if you want to keep that job, because there are hundreds of people standing in a line in a queue waiting for your position. So you are lucky that you can have this position at the workplace. And if you don't want to lose, you will work that extra hours. You will work at home after work. You won't even go home, but stay in. You will work on Saturdays and Sundays, and you will do all the shitty job that they would give you, because if not, you will be fired. So sort of like, this is controlling you financially. Okay. Of course, there is abuse in relationships, like toxic relationships, or in toxic relationships, they do all kinds of abuse. Like they can, use physical abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. Like mental abuse is also like they say, you are blonde. You're not smart enough in that sense. So you won't get it. So again, what have you decided about needing abuse or needing abusive people to be around you? And everything that brings up with this turn on, create, eliminate, and eradicate. And the other problem with all these kinds of abuse that, like, maybe you were thinking about, like, if it's really not good for me, why I keep staying in such places or stay connected to such people? And it's very simple, because when the abuse is logged into the body, it keeps generating that kind of vibe, that kind of message. So it keeps you contracting yourself and keeps you connected to such people, like in all different ways, because you need those people to be around you to keep abusing you. That's a really strange dynamic, but this is what happens. And even if you would leave the person or that workplace, the implant of abuse is still in your body. So when you look for the next workplace or the next relationship, you will find the same kind of person. Like you have the chemistry, and the chemistry means that your implants are triggered and activated when you sense and find that next partner. Like only those partners and workplaces or people would be matching for you, like generating the sense of matching workplace or matching partner that are providing the same type of abuse. Okay. And if you want to get out of this, you really need to get rid of this from the body, from your whole reality. Okay. And that's why there are really good body processes you have, and learn these body processes and use for yourself, and even use for your clients or your family, or even for your partner if you want, if they choose. One of it is about activating your body's infinite receiving. So it's because, we shut down receiving as well. And there is also another one, which is about helping you to get out of the victim mode or function as a victim, because that's also needed, right? Also, there are ones for the toxic relationships to help you to get out of all those lies that keeps you staying in those relationships. And of course, the main one is about clearing all forms of abuse from your body and the being. So what magic can show up if you start to get rid of all these from the body and the being? The being means all your belief systems and all the energetic imprints that's maintained by the implants in the body. Okay. Do we have any question? Or shall we jump on the questions? And actually, if anyone has any bodily sensation, I would like to ask you to please tell me, let us know so we can deal with it now. Like if you have pain in your chest or headache or pain in your tummy or in your back or in your neck or anywhere, just let us know and we can deal with it now, even online. Because in many ways we are connected, so it's not, it just looks like it's online, but it's not. All right, so shall we look into the questions?
Can I say something, Rocco, please?
Please, yes.
So I would just like to like to confirm, I don't know how else to say, what you said about how you keep being in with the people that abuse you. And I would like actually to to express my gratitude for you and for this class and for all the abuse classes I have been into. So interesting because this weekend something came up, an information, and regarding the abuse I have been exposed to in my past, and acknowledging where I am now and how I would not choose that anymore. And when you said that, earlier, I realized like how much all of this, you and these classes and everything else I have done about abuse has actually allowed me to get out of that. So thank you very much. Like truly, thank you. It's yeah. Thank you. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marius. Thanks so much. Hey. Yeah, actually, we were facilitating this class all around the world, and it was really like, okay, what's happening at the class? Like one of the big thing that's need to be done for the people to be informed about the different forms of abuse, the different dynamics they go into as a result or during the period of abuse. And because most people don't recognize that they are abused because the level of abuse stay below what is their level of now it's enough. But it doesn't really matter if that's below or beyond, it still affects people. And when it's below, it's slowly building up, but it still affects everyone. So people become so affected, so abused, so contracted. So most people don't believe they could have a different financial reality because of this, because they are financially abused over a lifetime. Most people don't believe they could have a better relationship because of this, because they are all different ways abused, like sexually or simply just emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. So most people don't believe they could have a better life. And they get to the point they don't even ask for a better life in any form, in any area of their life, because of being exposed to the different forms of abuse in all areas of life. Like this is what, when people go and attend a class and then they feel that spaciousness and they are so happy, so grateful, and they think, oh, I'm fine now. And then they go and meet their family again or their partner, or they go to their workplace after the class again, and they are back to that abusive energy. But when people get informed about the different forms of abuse and the different dynamics, then they start to recognize all forms of abuse in their life, all those people who are abusing them, even that is below that threshold that they would call that's enough. So that's a big recognition for most people after the class, because now they can see what is really happening, where others are trying to like pushing down them. And the other part is that once they start to run these processes on their body in their reality, then that triggering, that toxic implant in their body is removed. So with their next choices, there are two things will happen. They start to choose greater, and they will not choose similar dynamics to go back to the old reality, to the old type of relationships, to the old type of workplaces. So they start to really, as we say, get out of the prison of abuse. And these are the two things required: get informed and have the body processes to run on yourself. And yeah, and this is the great feedback that can come after the class. Like, people were saying that they finally recognize all of them and they would never choose such people to be with or connect with or work for, and so on. Cool. There is a question like, duralite de spate. It's the
That's
album.
back pain.
That's in Spain.
No, back pain.
Ah, someone has a back pain. All right.
Yeah.
So please put your hands on your back. Allow yourself to connect to it. Like, this is, how to say, against most of our, let's say, our consciousness. Like, I don't want to connect to the pain. Yes, but in order to work with anything, we have to connect to it. And don't worry, it's not going to be worse. We just need to connect to it. And okay, so anything you made vital, valuable, and real, and everything you implanted there, will you now destroy and uncreate, eliminate, and eradicate? Like, what have you made so vital, valuable, and real about that form of abuse, or that information, or that thing that you logged into that area of your body? And will you now revoke, recount, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate all of that for all eternity? Right and wrong, good and bad, put and poke, all 100 shorts, boys, poets, bases, creations, and beyond. And just allow yourself to keep your hands on your back or in that sore spot or area, and just keep running clearings on that. That really can help a lot. And there was also another question just above that.
No, she's basically asking what you have already answered, and also what I said. Does that mean that after those body processes, after the abuse class, are you able to choose differently? And above it was instant sweating.
Aha.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Uh, yeah. So would you allow yourself to expand your capacity of receiving, even with your body? Like, everywhere you've been abused, you're not just contracting the space you function from, but you also contract the energy field of the body, or the energetic systems, the dynamic of energy that can run through you. It's all kinds of contractions in all forms of contractions. So you get less connected to the energy flows as well. So would you allow yourself to get even more present with your body and have even more ease with your body, and connect back to all energy flows that actually would heal you, help you recover, speed up your recovery, and so on? And the other thing is, like, a lot of people reported after the class that many symptoms that they had before just disappeared. Because that's the other thing, that abuse can really generate symptoms, illnesses in the body, like physical illnesses in the body, because of the nature of abuse, that when you lock it in over time, it starts to limit the body's capacity of managing energies. And that um, like any abuse, when you lock it into the body, it starts to sort of like you know, get contracted and limit the body's recovery capacity. Cool. So,
I have a question.
yes, please.
What do you mean by locking the abuse in your body?
Uh-huh. So the abuse sort of like it has an impact on you. And the interesting part, we always think that the abuser uh, does the thing. So, so the interesting part is this. Let's say there is the victim and the abuser. The abuser does something or tells something to the victim, and the victim sees the abuser as someone who has the power in that situation. But it's not true. The abuser does it because they think or they believe that they don't have power over you. So they want to do something to make you powerless. So they think you have the power and not them. This is why they play these abusive games. So are you willing to recognize that actually you have the power and not the abuser? And it's so here comes the tragic thing that you as a victim, you start to shut down your body, you start to contract your reality. So it's not them, they can't. It's your reaction to the abuse. So actually, you have the power, even when you shut down yourself, your body, your financial reality, your personal development, anything that you shut down or you contract and make less, you are the one who does it. I'm not telling this that you are responsible for all the shit. It's not about that. But it's true. It's not about making you wrong. It's rather about please recognize that from the very beginning, you had the power and they tricked you into show up or make yourself less powerful. But you did that to you, therefore you have the power to change it. So that's the big thing. They are not powerful. You are powerful. And you were the one who built or implanted these blocks into your body, into your reality as energetic, let's say, memories. So it will keep your body stuck at that lower level of energy level. It will keep your receiving at a lower level. It would keep your allowance at a lower level. It would keep your life and living at a lower level, a level that is safe enough to show up, to be present. So it was you who, like what I mean, it was always the person who been abused, who has the power to limit themselves and take those actions to limit themselves through these energetic limitations or implants. But again, just as a reminder, you have the power to remove them and to change the situation. So it may seem like you don't have power and they had it, but actually it was the other way around. You have the power and they didn't have the power. So what would it take for everyone to have peace, joy, and glory with any kind of abusive people or abusive situation? Uh, there is something like sipte durerea de genunchi.
She was also asking about is the same for the knee pain? You know, like when you are talking about the back pain,
Yeah,
it some Monique asked about the knee pain. If it's
yeah,
the
it's the
same like
same
for the
same process to place your hands on your knee connect to the pain and the energy and the information behind it and start to remove it, like clear it. I mean, of course, at the class we have more specific body processes, but for the purpose of our intro, this can help a lot. That you are not turn your presence away and you start to receive again and get rid of it. And thank you for the question. And there is another question, can abuse be completely released? And yes, it's really about to release the implants from the body. Therefore, you will not sort of like pull in or invite the same kind of situation, because that situation is not, let's say, not sticky, not, let's say, you don't feel the chemistry to pull in such people into your life anymore. You start to become yourself and you recognize such situations and people in your life around you. Other question, how can I forget that I was abused since childhood? The important part here is it's not about forgetting. It's not, nothing is about to forget. Because we don't want to clear the memory. There is no reason, because if we clear the memory, it still won't help. We want to clear the effect. We want to clear the implants that we built into our body, into our physical and energetic reality. Because once you remove it, you can still remember what happened to you, but it will not affect you any longer. So it's about clearing the various forms of abuse with these processes and with recognizing that it was abuse. There is a question, I'm just not sure if I understand it clearly. It's like, ascult despre abuz, nu sunt în situație în cite moduri se poate defini abuzul.
You
It's
have
like,
the translations below if you look at my chat.
all right. That's, okay. I didn't look at, sorry if I'm wrong.
They change it in Zoom. It's like different, also new for me.
Prerequisites to abuse body process. So are there any prerequisites to abuse body process? It's one of the questions. No, because this class is about everything you need to know about abuse. Like we discuss these different forms of abuse. We run clearings on that, so you get informed about it, and you also learn the body processes that you can run on yourself to get rid of these implants from the body. And in how many ways can abuse be defined? Like abuse have many forms that I mentioned. Like gaslighting is one of the forms as well included, but technically anything is abuse that has a conscious or unconscious intention to make you less, to make you contract yourself. That's all abuse. Of course, each situation has its own level of intensity. Some abuse are more intense, some of them are less intense, but it still has the effect. Okay, what effects can abuse cause in our life? Yeah, I think we covered that. One of the big things, you start to choose less because you function from a smaller space. Therefore, you cannot recognize possibilities. And over time, you become so separate from life and the flows, like the energy flows of life, that you can't even choose something, you can't even desire something, you can't even choose to have a greater life, or you can't even see possibilities that you could choose. So these are, and of course, in the body you can have illnesses and symptoms that are coming up as a result of being abused. Yes. How can we figure it out when it's abuse, and how can we dissipate this before it invades our body? So one of the part is, yeah, as I mentioned about the definition of abuse. And the interesting part, when you have the information, you yourself starts to recognize what is abuse, who is abusive with you. And how can we dissipate this before it invades our body is that we also have like a receiving process at the class. It's all about to learn to receive anything and everything that people do to you. Receiving doesn't mean you let it affect you. Receiving means to have no points of view about it. Receiving means to recognize where are they coming from. Like, and if you were going into reaction, that means you didn't clear that type of abuse yet. When you don't get into reaction, like you recognize, this is what they try to do with this sentence or with these actions. Now I see. But you stay in that state of you are unstoppable, you can manage it, you can out-create it. And this is the big difference. Like you recognize what is their intention, why did they say or do something, but you not just recognize, but you stay in your power and you can change the situation, or you don't stop yourself as a result of the situation. Okay, it's next question. When you abuse yourself, your body, or you do self-abuse to your body by judging it and always wishing to look different, is that a form of abuse? Yes. You know, but okay, but just let's keep it clear. When you are aware that you could choose something greater with your body, let's say start a diet, start doing exercises, or change your diet, or start to wear different clothes that are matching your energy or contributing to the energy of the body, it's not self-abuse, it's consciousness. It's being aware of what creates greater. But when you start to shame yourself and judge yourself and your body, that you look into the mirror, oh my God, I'm getting older, I'm having more wrinkles, my body, my skin get more saggy, and I don't like myself. So that's, yeah, that's self-judgment. And with that, you abuse your body and yourself. When you get out of this, you will look at yourself, oh, hey, buddy, can you change this? And from that moment, changing your diet won't be, let's say, harsh on you. It won't be a hard decision that you cannot maintain, because rather you could do it with ease, because there are no shame and blame. There is no regret. There is no pain. You just simply know it. Oh, this would create greater. Then, okay, I do it. Because when my body is healthy and functioning properly, that's great for me as well. But most of the time, self-abuse coming with self-punishment. So a lot of people are running a lifestyle which is whole self-punishment. Like they are eating food that's nearly impossible to make it happen, that has terrible taste. And you don't want to have such diet that is full of struggle. But some people are keep having diets that makes them sort of like just simply die because it's have a horrible and awful taste, and it's not generative for the body, but they keep sort of like abusing themselves and their body through that. And at the same time, it's they say to the world that I'm being on a diet, but they look unhealthy even. Okay. And there is a question about money, like what can I do to not give away my money when I have, because I cannot contain or save the energy of money. So how many lifetimes have you been made wrong for having money, having too much money, or being rich? And what is your, let's say, survival scenario that if I give away my money, then I'm safe? Like if I'm too rich, people will find me and try to take my money away, or they try to kill me for my money or hurt me to take my money, or whatever is your hidden belief system or program that you keep running about your financial situation that keeps you lending or giving away your money to people. So everything that brings up, you destroy, non create, eliminate, and eradicate for all eternity. And what if you could truly receive money and all the amazing contributions of money? What could it create? All right, I think we are here uh, at the end of all questions. And just again, so this class is going to happen on the 21st to 23rd of November in Sibiu, Romania. This is a live class. This will be simultaneously translated by Silvana. Thank you. And if you, as well, if you have any questions, feel free to turn to Silvana with your questions about the class. And yeah, please make your registrations. You can do upfront payment and make sure that you can attend the class. And what else is really required to change the way we function with our bodies, with money, and so on, if we get rid of abuse? Yes, Silvana, you have a question. Please. Yeah, please say that. Yeah, please say that. Uh-huh. Okay. So, if anyone registers or make an upfront payment until the 31st of October, then that's an early bird price of 1,100 euro. And after that, the price is 1,400 euros. So we give a significant amount, like 300 euro cheaper, the class price for those who make it sure that they will attend, because it also contributes to the creation of the class. So we have more clarity and we don't have to run last minute. And also, because there are a lot of additional information and processes and clearings are added to the class, it's changed or improved a lot since previous times. So there is a repeat price as well, which is at the moment, I mean, until the 31st of October. It is, I think, yeah, it is 650 euro or something like that, or 610, 600 euro. Yeah, 610 euro is the repeat price, which is 3,050 Romanian lei. Okay. And that's for anyone who ever did the class. And another big thing that is changed since last time, that there are many topics regarding how you work with energies, how you work with receiving. What does it mean, receiving? And we created an improvement to make sure that everyone gets much deeper and they can even make the transformation at the class. Because one part that creates a transformation is clearings. Another part is the body processes. But the third part is for everyone to get much clearer the way they are like approaching such a topic. So we have exercises for everyone, like when we get to a topic, that we work together with everyone to make sure that they get rid of and clarify what is their personal approach. And then we get rid of that. Because when you face what is your approach to it, then you can have like total clearing of all of that. And that is when you can put things into the right place in your reality. So you don't have to wait until because many times people are waiting till the end of the class. They keep listening, but not processing. And what if this processing can actually happen during the class, anytime when we get to a new topic? And actually, this is working amazingly. It makes people to receive much more at the class. And they can sort of like make it like applicable or useful. So they can physically apply and use these tools and topics even during the class as we go forward. So this is a big step forward in the structure of the class. And as I've heard, there is one more or last question. Okay, how can I remove the actual constriction on my body from the abuse that make me freezing and unable to defend myself when the abuser approaches in many different forms of abuse? Thank you. Okay, that's a very specific question. Here is one thing. Whether people like it or not, let's say the last 3-4 generations, the whole, at least Europe, but it's not just Europe, most of the countries in the world, people grew up in a reality where, like after the World War, the great-great-grandparents, they had to rebuild the country. They were not being present with their, like being as a parent. And there were high expectations to the kids, like the kids to like grow up quickly, be able to be responsible, be able to be under pressure, because no one had time for this. And then people grew up in this energy and they were handing over such energy and such examples to each other. And most people, after 2-3 generations of such social approach, and there is not, like this is how it worked to survive, to build something new everywhere. I don't say this is the best way to do it, but this is how mostly it happened. So most people nowadays deal with two things. One of the problem is that if there is a situation, have you heard about fight and flight? Hope there is a Romanian term for that. Is there? Good. Fight and flight. So if there is a stressful situation, some people start to fight. they start quarreling, arguing to make sure that they are right. Other people starts that situation like show up as dead, not moving, not even showing any facial expression, not saying a word. Inside, their mind goes like crazy. They keep thinking about, they extremely, sensing the fear and the stress, and they wanna make it right. But they learn that they have to shut down their body, they have to freeze up in such situation. Because if they freeze up, then they are safe because they can't say anything, they can't do anything that would generate the need for retaliation or punishment by the other person. So this is also a way of survival. So either someone becomes sort of like aggressive in such situation, or someone becomes like frozen. And yeah, so this is also another thing what we work with during the class, to recognize and face these dynamics that we sort of like learned or get used to in order to survive. And yeah, and then you can clear it and get rid of it and get out of this thing. So really looking forward to anyone who would like to change this kind of dynamics they are functioning from, because yeah, definitely we will work in that or with this. Okay. Any questions we have, or sort of like we get to an end of the 1 hour we promised. Hopefully everyone found it useful. So the early bird price is a good thing. Until the end of October, it's active, possible. And if you have any questions that we didn't cover, but I hope we covered everything, but as we opened up this topic, it will bring you a greater space to look into it, and new questions can arise. And actually, we are planning to have sometime in the future another intro where we go further with future questions. So let us know. But what would it create for you if you like choose to have ease with your body, with your reality, ease with generating money, ease with creating a business, for example, that's generative financially, or find a workplace that is generative financially, or find a relationship, or change your actual way how you connect with people so it will be generative to you. So in which many ways it will be a huge contribution to start to get rid of all different forms of abuse from the body and the being. Like, and then you can, become again the unstoppable you that you truly be. So looking forward, everyone coming, joining us. And actually it contributes to attending any other classes, because then, after the class, you will not go back to the abusive reality, but you can manage it, you can deal with it, you can change your life and change the energy that surrounds you or is generated within you. So let's create a different future. And if you are a practitioner, like you're a healer and you wanna use it for your clients, then this is something new that you can start to add to your praxis. And oh yeah, last thing. This Wednesday and Friday, we have a 2-part event, which is called Reconnect with Your Body, and also eliminate the trauma implanted into the body that controls you. It's a 2-part evening clarity night. So Wednesday and Friday, 7:30 till 9 p.m. Romania time. and you can also still join us. Yeah, so that's we will also share the link for that event. Looking forward to everyone. Come and join us. So I think that's it, right, Silvana? Yeah. Okay. So have a lovely day. Thank you so much for being with us at such a late hour, and hope all of you can have more information about abuse this way and what contribution it can be. So have fun, have ease and joy. Let's change our bodies and the reality of the body, and let's change our future. Mulțumesc, everyone. Thank you, Silvana. Thank you, Marius, for your great help. And thank you for the energy of everyone and your amazing questions. Have a lovely day.
Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.